Episode 2 of the Taboo Table. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. Feels good to be back.
I think we're getting used to this now, kinda-ish, however.
Yeah, almost.
Okay, so I've brought this topic to the table, and the topic is around marriage and this enigma of marriage in our generation now. I think it's important because we are in our 30-ish, girl, and I thought I'd be married at this point. Yeah. I thought I'd be married with 6 kids and settled down and living my life, and God was like, nah.
We're gonna do some changes.
We're gonna just swap some things around. So I think this conversation is important because there are so many people, like I say, in this predicament, and there's also a kind of a fear, I think, in our generation at the moment.
What, for marriage?
Yeah.
I feel like our generation doesn't really take marriage seriously.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know if technology or social media has had a play in that, but
you don't know, girl.
Need to find out what's good.
So who have we brought to the table today?
So we brought Sarah to the table today.
We're actually so excited to have you on. I don't think you understand.
I'm so excited to be on.
It's like the gist that's on this table is hot, and I feel like you're the perfect person to kind of unpack it all.
We are going to Sophie's.
That's it.
Does anyone talk about relationship? Like Sarah?
No, you need to get involved. The community D needs to, make an entrance. So it was, on par that you come.
Yes, for sure.
So Sarah, we have today, does our generation take marriage seriously? And married in real life, single on the gram is something I feel
we've all been
subject to, and I feel it's a taboo that's not really spoken about because why are you doing it? Just why?
So do you think our generation take marriage seriously?
Ooh, I think it's an interesting one, right? Because I think it's down to your definition of marriage. Because what does marriage look like for you? And I feel that's changed over the years.
Much, yeah.
So I want to say yes, and I feel like actually the optimist and the
hopeless romantic.
Yeah, I was going to say the hopeful.
I'm trying
to, but I feel like it has been hopeless for a few years.
Yep.
The hopeful romantic me says that I feel like our generation does take marriage seriously, but at the same time, the definition of marriage has changed so much. It's like what you think is a marriage. It's just a situationship with clauses, and legal binding attached to it.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like when you're looking for a marriage, you really have to ask the question: what do you consider a marriage?
Yeah.
What are you actually looking for a life partner? Because if you're not looking for what I'm looking for,
then
it's a wash.
It's a mismatch.
So
I feel like for me, I've become quite scared of marriage. I have, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever had a preview of marriage that made me comfortable, because I've had my parents' marriage to look at, and then I've had marriages of my friends and whoever else around me, and none of them have ever appealed to me.
Yeah.
And then I had my own situationship, which I was living like a wife, but wasn't really a wife. And so now I stand back and I look at that and I'm just like, damn, so what is marriage and what is it I'm supposed to look forward to?
I think a lot of people are confused just because of the point you said, is that they haven't seen that example. Yeah. So if your parents haven't had such a good, marriage or home, and then your family members, like I can't really look at any one of my family members that I'm like, oh yeah, this is the marriage, that I want. I do have friends that I feel like, they understand it, but it's like the 2 out of 20, it's like the small percentage. So I feel like because of that, I feel guys are lost as well. Like we don't know what to look for. So when you're in a relationship, sometimes you just fall into it. And you're like, is this what I'm meant to be doing? Am I meant to be? So that's why you have some of the girls that they're the wives, they'll be cooking 24/7.
What's it?
Sweating.
What's it? Yawowa.
Yeah,
sorry, Yoruba.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just sorry, I might flip it.
We have to flip the script. Yeah.
It's basically like when their boys are like, our wife, they're gassing you.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're doing
the wife.
You're doing the wifey thing,
But meanwhile, Becky with the good hair is
in there somewhere.
I
want to say I put 80% of the blame on men. That'd be fair. I don't know where that statistic has come from, but I'm going to put it out there that 80% of the issues that I see when it comes to marriage in our generation falls down to men. I'm just going to say
I feel like if you were raised, like for instance, I feel like if you were raised in Nigeria now, you're raised in a patriarchal society. So a lot of what you would have seen back home, you would have seen it very one-sided, you know, mum doing everything, all of that. So they take that ideology that this is what a wife should be. I should go out and make the money. You should be at home to, you know, cook, clean and everything. It's like, no, well, some women actually are never going to leave their jobs. They're never going to stop, you know.
Yeah, I saw my mum like sweating in the kitchen and her back was all hurting, and I was just like, I don't like that.
I don't want to do that.
I don't look cute. Like, I need to get my hair done. And
I mean, I would say that, and this is something I've been exploring quite recently because it's been very triggering for me to kind of take on board. I would take that percentage down ever so slightly, and I'd say it's probably like 70-30.
Okay.
And the only reason why is because I feel like because of some of the systematic patriarchal behavior that you've experienced, like within society as a woman, there are just certain traits that you're trying to stick to, but then there's an element of it being quite toxic. So for example, you know, the expectation of what a man should do. So if we're looking at it from example, say you are a high earner and your man is also, or he's like very ambitious, but he's not necessarily earning as much as you. I do feel like there is that expectation that the man should earn more, and it's almost like that that image or that expectation is still upheld by women. And it's not to say that's bad, because obviously there's a whole, you know, story around what the head of the house, I mean, does that even exist?
Women are like the gatekeepers for patriarchy,
you know. And this is it, the gate, and I do feel like that in itself is toxic, because it's like you're saying you want to break the patriarchal system, but then you're also a gatekeeper. You're saying this is what it should look like.
I think it comes from a defiance on both ends, because we say we want traditional values in this marriage thing, but then at the same time, we don't, and the guys don't really, but they pick and choose, or we all pick and choose what we want to keep traditional and then what we want to move outside.
I feel like your whole life, especially that you're like a guy, I feel like he's been told, be yourself, go out, strive, work hard, you know, and, you know, enjoy. But a woman, everything is policed. You can't go out like from
it's not wifey
school,
like.
You can't go out.
It's not wifey like.
You're a girl from college. Come home at this time.
It's not wifey
my curfew. I'll be like, I want to leave the house at 10. My curfew will be at 12. I'm like, how is it possible? Before I even make it
at the bus stop, then return home.
You know, cook, clean. You have to be a woman. You have to know how to, you know, be homely and cook and clean. So they shape you into what you think you are.
They shape you into your preparation to become a wife, but they don't shape the men into becoming husband.
100%.
So what exactly are you lot giving us at the end of when we pass and get the certificate in wifey school?
Don't know how to
what do we get out of that?
They just know how to be a man, bring home, strive to bring home. There's nothing extra. A woman sometimes. When I see women struggling, even if you have a nanny, some women don't even have anything. So you're your husband's therapist, you're the cook, you're the nanny, you're the spiritual counselor, you're everything, and he just has to come home and
But I don't know if it's like a narrative you guys have heard recently, because I've heard it a lot recently. I feel like in itself that also speaks to this whole element of, particularly with black women, black women are meant to be strong. That narrative, black women are strong, they're strong, you know, they're
hold down the fort.
I'm tired.
And there's no element of black women being able to be vulnerable. You know, black women to be able to appreciate who they are. Like, even going back to what you were saying around that policing, I remember, like, I'm a very curvy woman, and I remember, especially as I was getting towards my late 20s, an area where I'm actually supposed to be getting to understand myself a lot more, I was being policed more, because it was like, maybe you're not being approached because you give off a certain vibe. You give off this vibe that you look like this, and so this guy only wants this, this, and this with you. And I fought it for so long, and then I succumbed, and I said, actually, you know what? I'm going to be who I am. Like, and the thing you have to remember when it comes to marriage, it's for life. This is not 6 months. It's not 12 months. It's for life. So whatever you're trying to push down,
it's gonna come.
It's gonna come out.
I mean, I used to know a girl that she never used to wake up with like a guy beside her, or boyfriend, without makeup. By the time she's so I was like, oh, so if you're married, do you think your husband's never going to be able to see you without I was like, that's a hard life for me to maintain a lie or to be this way, and then you now relax, and then when you're in a marriage, you're like, this is not who I married. It's because you lied.
Yeah.
Your whole life personality is a catfish, and it's like.
Can I also tell you, like, the people that have made me afraid of the marriage are the people that are in the marriage. When I say men, I'm just gonna tell you why, because I have guy friends, and not a single one of them respect their marriage. Like, I had a friend who I wanted to set her up, and I seen that my married friend had a lot of friends, and I was like, oh, you know, that guy's, you know, her type, and you know, she likes big, mature guys, whatever. And he was like, yeah, she's fine, or like, you know, like, yeah, he'll treat her good. He was fully ready to book the date, and my friend's in a vulnerable place. I just wanted a guy to take her out and treat her right. So I'm like, getting so excited, I'm telling her about him. And then he just casually was like, oh, but let him drop off his wife first. And so I was just like, wait, sorry. He's doing what? Yeah, no, he's taking his wife to shopping, and sorry. It was like I was the mad one. Because honestly, it's like,
because you question it.
Are you not understanding what I'm saying? He's going to drop his wife and then go and take your friend. I said, no, but sorry, your friend is married. He's like, yes.
She was like confused, like, yeah, why do you have to question?
It's me that's mad. And I've seen this so many times. I've seen it so many times that I'm thinking, I don't want to end up with a person that is
nonsensical, you know. And I feel like that's why some guys get married, because I feel like they feel like they can relax. You hear some older men in our generation advise the younger ones that just settle down, get married. I mean, in Nigeria sometimes, you want to get married so you can get contracts now on government, and people in the big dogs can take you seriously. So those ones would advise them, just get married so you're seen as a more serious man. And so really and truly, you only get married because you want that comfort. You go to work, there's someone at home cooking, there's someone at home cleaning, maintaining. There's not a lot of effort.
Right.
But I will, so I've been blessed actually, because I feel like my mum and dad, they split up when I was really young. So my idea of like, even just having a father figure, it just wasn't there. And I know for a fact whilst I wouldn't consider myself to have daddy issues, it definitely impacted the way I saw 100%. Men, especially when it came to the stage where someone was problematic or toxic, and I didn't quite walk away from it. You know, there's a whole psychology around it. But I've been blessed to have elements where, marriages where I have actually seen like great marriages, but it's not because they're perfect. And I feel like there are times where some of these guys, when they get married, they just haven't lived their life. Like, they haven't lived that, because actually they have tried to meet this expectation that's just not them. They haven't discovered who they are. They haven't addressed their trauma, because so many of them have mad trauma. They get married and they're still trying to explore.
And it's you that they're coming to now use to explore
who they are. And it's like, that's not, and I really had to learn.
Anyway.
And I'm like, for me personally, having experienced those kind of men, I'm like, I've had to learn to say, look, I'm not a Captain Save-A-Ho. I'm not here to try.
Where's the bell?
Where can you rewind that one?
I'm not a Captain
Save-A-Ho.
I'm not a Captain Save-A-Ho, because you are moving hella mad. And I'm not the one to save you. Even though I've got a listening ear, even though I have a level of care which is probably higher than what you are used to, I am not here for you to lean on me like I am.
Just be dumping the shit on your shoulders.
Dumping the shit on my shoulders, coming back and forth with me. Like, I have so many stories, and actually there's one guy in particular who I always go back to. Like, I've talked about him.
Just let it out, because
I always go back to
this one is famous.
Of recent, he turned up in Bella with his babe, right? He turned up Bella, and I won't even go into the full story, but when I say like, I'm not here for Captain Save-A-Hos, the way this guy was moving, he would like DM me my own pictures to say to me, this is a guy who was like engaged at this time,
this is what we mean.
He DM'd me my own pictures telling me, you look so hot, oh my God, you look amazing.
He's a pussy. Because do you know what? You would put it under my picture. You know when they start sending you your own picture?
This is it. So he then kind of moved over to WhatsApp, and I said, look, I'm not here for all of this. Like, you fully have a fiance. Like, what are you doing? And I said, I even asked him the question, what would you say, or what would your fiance say if she knew all this was happening? You know, that's why he replied to me? She would say, you're my type, Sha. you're my type. So I'm like, you are
the boldness of them.
The boldness. I'm like, I'm not a captain. Say, I cannot help you. If you genuinely feel like that is the answer to your question, you do not have a level of shame because you haven't worked out your own trauma. Yeah. I'm not the one to help you do that.
I'm not. No.
I'm okay. Like if things go left, I'm okay for me. Like for us to still hang out, for us to still be friends. I'm not saying that we've dated or whatever, we've done a thing and then I cut you off. No, but you need to also respect yourself, respect your partner. Right, and
that's what it is. They don't respect.
They don't respect themselves.
It's casual.
It's
like,
very, very casual.
And they always complain, and I feel like they always complain that, oh, you know, there's no good women out there, or there's gold diggers. But especially married men, they're very transactional.
Yes, extremely.
They're very transactional. Even how they approach the women they marry, they approach them, I feel like, in a very transactional manner. Like, oh,
what do you
know, I mean, I've been on a lot of dates, and specifically with Nigerian guys, and the first thing they spend the whole first date talking is, oh, I'm driving the first,
I'm
Mercedes.
doing this. Okay, but are you married?
I have this much money, or I'm this, and I'm like, you don't want a gold digger, but the whole thing you've talked about this whole day is your wallet.
How much money you have.
So if I'm a gold digger, the first thing I'm going to be like, oh, really? But it's fake. We're pretending for each other from the first day, and it's like
to pay for the taboo table.
I lie.
Pay for production.
Pay for the whole production.
So I don't even feel like that level of respect. I don't think it's there.
That was going to be my next question: is have any of you actually ever been approached by a married guy and found out later? I know you knew straight ahead, but have
this was 6 months after we were talking. I even cut him off. Guy came back.
No, you know they work hard. They're married, but they work hard. You see the married men when they want you, they work harder than the devil.
They work hard. I think so. He was probably like. There's been a couple of guys who've been engaged and they've done like the trad, so I guess married in that respect. They've done the trad marriage and then they've tried to talk to me. But in terms of married, me, my FBI, my CRP check.
I will find your ancestors.
Okay, but I don't go. I know Lola will go and she will go and dig up your ancestors' graves.
I will listen to me.
She'll now
because
tell you
the lies, the unprovoked lies.
Lola can give you a migraine. Henry VIII was your uncle. Yep. See me, I've got this thing where it's a bit of naivety because I just feel like, okay, like everyone's good in the world.
Lies. That is good.
I think it's good to an extent, but then it's when these guys, because this is it, right?
Maybe because you've been burnt.
Yeah, it's when you've been burnt, and also I feel like a lot of these guys, they give off their flags are early. You just wait. Your flags are early, but you are so like
receptive.
Optimistic. Right?
My flags will be flying from the first conversation.
You know, my weakness is when they come packaged like how I like.
Jesus.
Then I've got, the red flags now just turns into hearts, and I'm just ignoring them because when you come looking like I like, smelling like I like, slinging like I like, I forget now. But who knew we had to ask, are you married when somebody moves to you?
I've now even expanded my own questions because they lie for that. So I said, is there anyone that will be upset with me being on this date with you? And they're like, huh? Is there any woman that is going to be upset?
Woman that's going to be upset.
Child that's going to be upset with us being on this dinner together. And when I just see, I said, okay. There's a complication somewhere. Do you understand?
It's when you can't answer.
When you can't answer questions, because some guys will blatantly tell you, "I'm single," and you wouldn't see anything. That's what I'm saying. Like married in real life, single on the gram, and then you go through their gram. There's not pictures. Guys will snap at their own weddings like they're at a party.
Yeah.
It's your wedding. Yeah. You're the groom.
I'm not gonna lie. The day that I woke up was this guy went through my friends to get to me. Like he did everything, and he wasn't my type, so I was ignoring him. But he was really pushing. And then when I finally gave him my number, the guy didn't ring me for a week. So I was just like, okay, I forgot about it.
I'm done.
Wasn't it on Snapchat that I saw him, was it confetti? He was coming out the church and people was throwing it. And I said, oh, maybe he's going to help them tidy up. My man was the groom.
Healing party, because...
But is it the Holy Spirit? Because I was so confused. But why was you pressuring for my number? What was you looking for?
What were you looking for?
I just feel like they feel they're trapped. Like what, when you ask what it is, it's just like...
Do we tell the women?
Right. So, you know what? Let me keep it $1.50 because this is, I'm ready. This is the TTT.
Go ahead, Chad.
I'm ready, right?
Put it on the table.
So, I'm an advocate for no, right? Because, like I said, I haven't got time to be going back and forth. But I will not lie to you. There is one person in this world, I won't go into much here, other than that. I just, because I actually seen him and his girlfriend before together. and it was everything. The Holy Spirit.
You know when
was
you start doing this?
Yes, the Holy Spirit was speaking to me because I said, this girl, all she needs to give me to is one side. I said, look, fam, if you knew what your man was doing,
yeah,
your eye would be rolling back in your head. All your eyelash, the fake eyelash that you put on your face,
everything would just be dropping off.
Everything lock off.
Just listen.
I'm so tempted. I've been tempted so many times to just be like, man.
Would you want to know?
I'm that wife that I need to know everything.
Do you know what it is? It's not even about being a wife. I don't like to be taken for no idiot. Yeah. Do you understand? I don't like people looking at me from afar and thinking that girl's a dick.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
or maybe when I'm posting the love of my life, someone comments, sis, this
LOL.
LOL, this
they're just at their friend.
I would die. Where do I want to die to?
Is it the first
Is this him? Is this your man?
You have to now go jump.
You know when you get pop, you know when someone says calls you get that phone call, I'm just coming to you for a woman. I've had that call before. Let me tell you what your heart does. Your heart goes to your stomach, into your digestive system. It's like before you even heard the news, you already know the fuckery that's about to come out of this girl's mouth.
So I know a story of one girl who got coming to you as a woman on her wedding day. She got on her wedding day.
Oh no, that's evil.
She got on her wedding day. Still went ahead of the wedding.
I think I saw
wedding.
Unless it's a different video.
I saw it and I said, that's what I want to know, because you do it to my wedding day, one of us is dying on the line.
Yeah.
One of us.
You don't even need to finish. Do it on the wedding day. You don't even need to get divorced. Annulled. It doesn't. There's no divorce process. Annulment. There's no need for papers.
Wait. That however many K that I've spent, somebody needs to.
His
family, his mother. I'm gonna talk directly to his mother. Do you see the dickhead you've raised? Do you see this is?
But you know what it is.
Give me my
crazy
money.
Men like that, a lot of the time, and I don't want to generalize here, but a lot of the time, their mothers are complicit.
Their mothers are complicit.
I wouldn't even say the fathers. Their mothers
I can't speak for any other mother, but I know Yoruba mothers are complicit. Yoruba mothers.
You've got every I feel like
mothers will hide it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They will hide it. Every girl that comes to my house, our wife. They'll be friends.
Yeah. They'll do. I've been that girl as well when I've gone to the house and it was a grandmother actually was doing, oh, you know, he can't even sleep when you don't call him and not knowing that God will do it to your own daughter.
This is what I'm saying.
R.I.P. to her, but not knowing that you.
For me, if you need to cheat, I've been at a wedding where he had all these hoes on one table. All these hoes.
They all know about each other.
I was on that same table. I ain't this hoe.
Okay.
So
I just need to girl.
Were you on the table?
Did you stay?
Did you stay? Girl, was it after you knew or was it then?
No, because I was basically.
Oh, you was the main.
I was the plus one.
Oh, okay.
Of the hoe. Okay. So all these hoes were on one table, and guess what? They were all in Ashwebi. They all paid for Ashwebi. I didn't even know if they paid. Maybe he gave them some free. But the point is, they were all in Ashwebi.
Hold on, wait.
So even when there was a point when
this was his mate's marriage.
What do you mean?
The wedding, was it, whose wedding was it that he had his hoes on one table?
It's his wedding. He had his hoes.
I'm spinning.
At his wedding on one table. Let me say, the things that go down, it's like film trick. So when I saw it, I was like, wow. You know the point where the bride and groom come around to kneel down to every table and say, thank you for coming, thank you. You know the point where they came and they went to that table? I had to sit like this.
You just uncomfortable.
Because I was so, if I was the bride and I found out I'm beauty, I know a guy that's had his hoe on his honeymoon. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
His honeymoon was on a cruise. His hoe was on the same honeymoon cruise. So he will form fight with his wife, and then when he needs to go downstairs, next day.
This is our plan. This is unruly. This is unruly. What is going on?
My thing is that if you need to cheat so bad that you need to have your hoes at your wedding, why do you feel you need to get
But don't drag me into that mess.
Why
you just
you're
sling your dick without me?
You're obviously not ready.
This is what
why
I'm talking
force
about.
it?
It is trauma. These guys that are cheating, these guys that feel like they need that level of security, the trauma that they feel. I am a massive advocate of therapy. I've done therapy before. I went for therapy during lockdown.
100%.
And I say every single person in this world needs some form of therapy.
Everyone needs therapy.
Everybody does.
I don't play with therapy.
It's not to speak to your mental health and say that you are, you have an illness.
Yeah.
It is because you will go through. Life is tough.
Life is
tough. There are things, not everyone is made equally. Because you're not made equally, you go through experiences in life that will shape you and they'll meld you. Now, yes, they will strengthen you, but they will also bring you trauma.
100%.
And in that respect, if you're not dealing with the trauma that you have, you will bring it to somebody else. And this is what a lot of these guys are doing. How can you, a whole home?
That's vim. In Ghana, we say you've got vim. Like, that's a lot of vim to do that.
Yeah, I feel like Sarah's right when it comes to the trauma thing, because I feel that's what we're saying. Like, I don't feel guys have an idea of actually what if you've gone through that many traumatic experiences. Some of them don't know what love is and how to show love. How do I show this person love? How do I listen to her problems? How do I become emotionally intelligent if I've not had that myself? Absolutely. So I feel like they like the idea of having someone at home having love, but they don't know how it is to have a wife.
So I think we've bashed the guys quite a bit, and rightly so, they deserve it. But can we talk about these females and the rush into getting married? And I have a male friend, who, when I spoke to him about his own marriage, which ended actually in their 30s, I think they was only married for 2 years, he said something really scary that made me shook. And he said that he wasn't ready, and he told the girl he wasn't ready, and she still wanted to get married. Why are we so desperate as
pressure.
Females now?
Sometimes your parents are on your neck, and you hear it from all angles. And not everyone is emotionally strong enough, I feel, to deal with that kind of pressure. Like, some people, I mean, I know when most of my friends fold, like, you're hearing it from aunties, you're going to parties, oh, yeah, no husband, going to wake up and breakfast, no boyfriend. It's like, man, I just want to brush my teeth, I just want to have breakfast, you know, like, that's all I want to have. And
You're tetty.
You know, the clock, they remind you, you know, you need to your eggs. And they're just so, like, even them, the African aunties, they're just so not emotionally intelligent to just not to know to gauge, not to have certain conversations.
What's scary with those African women is that they've gone through the worst type of marriage that I don't want to deal with, but they want to push us to do what they
because hate. People that have shackles don't like to see people break free. Okay, and sometimes
they are stuck in loveless marriages. They don't talk to each other. I've never seen my parents. I've never seen it.
What's that? My mom, in my household, that's why when I first had a boyfriend, when the first time he raised his voice and called me names, called me a bitch, I was like, this is love. I was like, I said, he's really upset. So this is he loves the shit out of me. I was like, he loves this passion. You understand? Because in my household, we were waking up to curses. You are mad. You two, you are mad. So I'm like, this has to be love. This is okay. Yeah. So my first relationship, it was basically what my household was. I attracted what my household was, what my idea of love. Got into my first relationship, I was like, after a few years, I was like, no, I don't like, love shouldn't hurt this much.
What have these aunties taught you about marriage?
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to women, I mean, if I think about my own kind of understanding when it comes to marriage, if I'm being very honest, I don't know what, like, I know what I want,
right?
But I don't know what marriage is. Why? Because I'm not married.
Right.
And I feel like in the marriages that I've seen, you know, the great marriages and the not so great marriage, it's evolved so much in the marriage itself. It's like, you have to understand that that's what it's going to be. And I feel like women, especially the women who are looking to get married, they have this one set expectation. This is marriage. And a lot of that is based on the wedding and not the marriage. It's based on what does that look like from a status perspective.
Social media weddings,
it's a wife, it's a boo,
and
then actually believing when they then get married, it's always going to be like this, forgetting that you're married to a human being who is going to
You're being about to be stuck to
and also they're going to evolve. You're going to evolve. They're going to evolve. Like, I went to this marriage ceremony years and years ago, and honestly, it's something that it stuck with me forever. Like, a relationship, and you know, by evolution and marriage, is not meant to be two people being dependent on one another.
100%.
It's not meant to be two people being independent of one another. It's two people being interdependent on one another. And in understanding that you are being interdependent, it's understanding that's going to keep on changing. I feel like you said, with that pressure, you then get women who are expecting marriage to be a set type of way. Because it might be that what they've seen, or B, is because that's what they've never actually kind of explored for themselves. Well, what do you want? And actually, what I want my marriage to look like. And you know, if that changes, how do I make sure that's still thriving? So when I look at any kind of marriage, or if it's a social media marriage, or it's a a marriage that I'm close to the people in the marriage, I never look at it just from a, oh yeah, their goals. I'm looking at, when they're fighting, what are you guys fighting about? How are you managing that fight? How are you managing, like, you know, when you're getting, when you're trying to reconcile, you're trying to like work out, how are you managing
what are your tools?
What are your tools? Because that's what's going to allow, that's what's going to help me when I think about my own marriage for it to actually be successful. And I just don't feel like a lot of women want to do that. They're not looking for it. And
most times when the marriages that I see that are completely flawed, they were flawed from the beginning. Yeah. So the flawness didn't come at the point they said I do. They were flawed from when they were dating, and they carried that. And for me, from when you're dating, from when you meet each other, you have to both lay your expectations. You have to know who you both are. And the marriages that I see work are couples that they are themselves. That is literally their best friend.
I wish I had a deck because I want to just, they are
themselves, they're friends. There was no rush. They knew, like, I'm marrying because he proposed. He didn't get not because he's getting pressure from his family, because he truly loves the woman he's been with, and she truly loves the guy. They've worked out their communications. They've had arguments, and it's been right from the beginning.
Oh, interesting question, right? Do you feel like someone can get married and fall in love after the marriage? So like if you think about it from like a Jessica's face,
I mean, that's fine.
Like, as in like, so if you think about like an arranged marriage, and arranged marriages these days don't always look like the typical arranged marriage.
I feel like our parents have had arranged marriages, not maybe in the typical sense that we know it. One parent brings that. But I feel like our parents got together for survival, and it was an arrangement to survive and to move across from Africa into this country. And that's why they've lived so long. They've managed to stay together even though they don't talk to each other. There's no love in the house. Like, there's so many of our parents that are like that. They live in one household, but do they love each other? No.
No, it's like roommates.
It's just like roommates. They paid the bill together, do the mortgage together, but
it's like roommates.
What else are you guys doing? So is it possible? It must be, because I know that some arranged marriages have worked in other cultures. But do I want you to come and use me as a test dummy and see if you want me after we strive together, build together? No, I don't. Please, let's be doing the love before we enter the marriage.
Yeah, the way my personality is set up, I need to be in love with you, head over heels before I even look at my ring and be like, I do, because if I don't like you, I don't for nothing. I would rather have a kid.
When you start arguing, then you start looking at how big his head is.
People are like, oh, kids are easier than marriage.
No, they're not. His head shape, and then his nose.
You're saying even argument. Before argument, I'm already looking at where I'm going to finesse you. And it's not even in a rude way. Like, it's not in like a necessarily a monetary way, but it's more of a, I consider myself to be, I consider myself to be able to, and it sounds horrible to say it, but I realize this is one of my toxic traits. I can say it openly that if I am not in love with you, if I know this is not the real deal, I will
take you for a dickhead.
I know how to manipulate you.
I will run your life.
It's almost like it's not a game, but it's almost like a way that I can
look at, because I'm a part of it.
I would run.
You see, good girls, we get left behind. You see girls like us who have been brought up to respect, go ahead, Sha, go ahead.
No, listen, if I don't like you, and my thing is, if I've told you I don't like you, and you two want to do boo-boo the fool and continue, ma'am, you are mad. You're hard of hearing. So I've already told
and raise family, and I don't know. Carry on, girls. No.
And I mean, and for me, like, I come with baggage, like I have a whole chronic illness, so there's no way I'm gonna marry someone I don't love or you don't love me, because it takes love to deal with certain things, and marriage already is hard. Let's talk to, you're bringing two different, some families are really insane, like they're mad. You're bringing two strangers together. Some people even planning their wedding was the worst period of their life. They hated planning just because of all the politics and everything you have to go through. I will now not like you. I'll go through all that stress to not even feel that.
I feel like when we were on your show, because those of you who don't know, we did Community podcast a couple months back, and you played a little game with us.
Build a bae.
Build a bae. And I feel like we want to know your build a husband.
Ooh, girl. Do you know what?
We need a timeline. Anybody got a timeline?
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. You guys are flipping the script.
Yeah, we got.
It changes all the time. It's interesting, right? Because I'm actually, I don't know if I can call it dating right now. I guess we're going on a couple of dates.
Are you? Is it with one person, or are we dating?
So it is with one person. Although if he does watch this, I'm lying. I don't know what camera I'm looking at. I'm lying. I'm dating bare people. Don't take me for a dickhead. Don't feel like a man in the boxes. Get me? No. So I think it's kind of, but it's literally that natural kind of selection in terms of, like we were saying, like I know that I'm gonna finesse someone that I'm not interested in. Like I had one guy I was even speaking to, and he basically, we said okay. I said, oh, he asked me, what do you do? I said, well, I work in L&D. I work for a media company. Really fun, super busy. I said, oh, what do you do? Guy gave me a 1 minute, like 2 minute, in fact, it was like 2 minute voice note saying, I set policy, I set precedent, I'm the person that does everything.
And that's
they
what
come to me, I'm the person that sets the risk appetite. When I heard that, I said, look, I will regulate you, I know I will. Because for you to have to feel like you have to justify your job role to me.
Ego.
No, he's selling himself. He's selling himself to you.
But you,
so please use me, ATM. That's what he's saying.
This is what, and the thing is that if you feel like you have to sell yourself to me, you're clearly either not securing yourself, or you're intimidated by me. And either one of those two, I'm going to finesse you. I'm going to finesse you.
Give us your Build a Babe, please.
Okay, right. Am I timed?
In timing?
Actually, you got 30 seconds, because I feel like 1 minute is too much cooking. You got 30 seconds to build your babe.
Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Go.
I want a guy who fears God, because the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, and some of you people need wisdom in your life, right?
Amen.
I want a guy who, I feel like the personality goes above the like the physical. So I want someone who's funny, I want someone who is spontaneous, I want someone who's ambitious.
This is happening.
I mean,
sorry, no, but she said personality over, but don't you want a big dick?
I do, you know what?
Sorry. Yes,
in an ideal world, I would love a big dick. Yes. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Like, let's keep it a buck, right? Who wouldn't? But I do feel like, because my theory is that when it comes to like sexual appetite,
No, she's got to keep going.
Keep going.
When it comes to sexual appetite, I feel like, as much as there are things that are obviously natural, they can be learned behaviors. But when it comes to personality, you have spent your life trying to be a person, or you're trying to hopefully build a personality. I want someone who's genuine. Like, I feel like a lot of people...
4, 3.
Oh, genuine, lovely.
1.
Oh, no, I feel like...
I want to hear more about the physical.
Oh, okay, all right, so physically, right... I love a good beard. Although this guy I'm seeing has a lot of beard. I love
because when they eat the pussy, it gets wet, and then you know.
I like beard.
No, because when they go down there and then they come back up, it's cold and it rubs on your chin.
No, tell them to wipe it, baby. Well, that's why.
Okay, so short beard then, short, not.
No,
big,
I mean, I think I won't even lie. I've never had it.
They don't eat your coochie. The bearded guys don't eat your coochie.
So on my first list of Build a Babe, you ain't eating Becky if you ain't
eat the coochie because
I don't care what you own, who you are, girl, what your name is. I don't care how much is in your bank. If you don't eat coochie,
so how do you start the sex if they don't eat the coochie?
Girl,
they just go straight into it.
Isn't she the one that just told us that you didn't know that the size?
Right. So I didn't. So I was having this conversation with my friend, and I always thought that the size of a guy is proportionate to his height. And like perhaps his, honestly,
it's okay, because you know what, it's not. Do you know what? You're not the only one that suffered in this sex game. You know, like, I hear you, but that one, I feel like we should have known from GCSE.
No, I just because
So what you thought a short guy must have a short stubby. A tall guy must have
I don't even want to bring
sling
anyone up front. You know, I'll try one. Because I feel like if people follow me, like they know.
After the first session, it was too small for me. Whatever my problem was, I'm like, no. The only way I would sleep with you again is if like you came fast, and I'm like, okay, no problem. It's anticipation.
Really?
He's excited.
I might try a second time. Like it was so fire that he came. Yeah. You can't just be blaming him. It's you now. Sometimes it's so fire down there.
No, sometimes you just don't know how to control yourself. What on earth?
So if he doesn't know how to control himself after the second time, it's bad. It's you know
what my friend just said to me, and she's so right now. I feel like that's how I'm gonna move, because I've had a lot of bad sex. You know, girl, I'm suffering. Like, it's been bad. And like I said, I don't know, you know when they say like clean your glass and, you know, look in each other's eyes or you get 7 years bad sex, I feel like somewhere along the line, I clicked and I didn't look because the sex has been, it's been so bad. Like, I literally lie there and I'd be rolling my eyes and I'm like, but what is you doing? You're using me to masturbate.
But then do you feel like, the thing is, that's what I was going to say, do you feel like there's something that you could do?
Yeah.
I had this conversation with my friend Edith and she was like, just tell them. And I'm like, so I go, well, tell them how? She was like, just tell them, you know, just, I got to do it through sexy talk. No, but you got to do it through sexy talk. Yeah. Off your pants?
Before I even get to off your pint, I would know how good you are.
Okay, but okay, so what about us that don't know? No, because I thought good lips, first of all, people that know how to kiss and use their hands, I thought there was good. He built up all of this and I was like, oh, gushy, I can't wait. When he got down there, I said, but, like, how dare you? Because I can call your mum right now.
You have to teach him.
But how?
And if he's like on you, if he's just like doing whatever, I thought you just need to like take the lead.
And hit them on the head.
Put it down. Nah, just take the lead and you don't care. You don't need, at that point, I don't care if he finishes or not.
Does it need to be a teacher? This is right. So, and this is the difference, right? In a marriage, I'm happy to teach all the live down there. I will take say, oh yeah, Monday we go to work. Monday to Friday work. Saturday, Sunday, sex ends. Right?
That's it.
Our size.
That's it.
Okay. Today's lesson, you're gonna learn how to
eat
this pussy. You're gonna learn how to eat front and back. Well, front by everything, right? Tongue, oh yeah, 90-degree angle, like this, bah. Now you know clitoris.
I feel like women, like, we're complicated.
No, but do we teach the boys? Do we teach the boys that are not your? Do we do that?
You don't have to teach them to that degree, but for me, if you're, you know, some guys, you know, they watch porn. For some guys, their educator was porn. So when they're coming,
this is what I was going to say.
Slow down, first of all. This is not a roller coaster.
First
of all, you have to tell the person, I like slow. You know, you like it slow? Yeah, I like it slow. I like it slow. That's what gets me hot. I like it slow. So let's slow all the way down. And when you're kissing, like, when the spit is going on my nose, kiss.
And then, you know what, I take spit on your nose. And then the mouth is smelling.
You have to hold it.
Oh, smelling.
It's the excitement. It's like, you know, have you ever had a dog before? Have you ever had a puppy? When you know sometimes the dog is so excited, they run through the door.
That's all I is. That's what I was talking about when they go down there and it's like a swimming pool.
All these guys that you're saying, like a lot of them, you can, like I said to you, and this is, I'm telling you, me, I've understood. Like a lot of these guys, the flag was already there.
It's true.
The porn guys,
always.
The flag was there from what they're asking you to like. And this is something that I would add to my builder boo because again, like me, I have one. I can't even lie, I have one, and you see it from the front. I've got one. A guy to be able to, when he's already starting to talk about my bum within what 5-10 minutes of me talking,
when he's bringing a sex talk,
that you don't know how to finesse me because if you're having to sexualize me from early on,
it's a problem.
You know that
it's
actually what you're doing is it's not.
When everything you just start saying, oh, I can't. When it just gets to sex too fast, I just already know it's gonna be a dub. Like. I think I like the quiet ones, like the ones that are just like in a party. If you have a guy that's dancing, I never date the dancers.
No, I don't like. No, not the horizontal warriors at the party because why are you sweating?
I don't date the dancers. I'm usually like the one that's just in the corner. Hi, you know, calm, collected.
Mysterious ones,
they're the cheaters.
Those ones,
they're cheating. They're scouting. Carry on.
And just depending on what we talk about, how your vibe is, like when we speak on the phone, I'll be like, okay, you know, and I like. For me, the longer it takes for him to mention sex, so the longer it takes for him to bring up any parts of my body or mention sex, is the quicker it will take for me to want to do it.
Right.
The more you're talking about my body, talking about sex, you ain't getting nothing.
I'm not getting shit. At that point, I'm just like.
I probably send a nude and run, block.
You even send a nude. I can't.
If I'm bored.
Me? No, because the thing is that you have to remember that everything you do automatically assume that information is going everywhere, and the way London is set up, that 6 degrees of separation is like as you get older, it's moving to like 3, 4, 2. Oh wait, 3, 4, 2. Wait, it's moving to like basically it's decreasing. So it's like 3 degrees of separation, 2 degrees of separation. Like so, for me to even put myself out there like that, I need to know you are you need to be certain to the point that if anything pops off and anything gets out. I know, okay, I did it with chest. I own that. Because that's also another point where you find that when things do go left, you start appropriating blame. When the guy you saw the
already
side
knew
shot,
that there was no brain there.
He was. You two, you were answering. But then when everything went left, you now started acting like you were Ray Charles.
You didn't see shit.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You acted like you didn't see a thing, but the guy already told you, look, Kim, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to hear him. So that's why I'm like,
and sometimes he doesn't even tell you, he shows you way early. He shows you who he is early. He's not going to change. But that's who he is.
But that's what you were saying. Like, I feel it's so key for you to be able to set those patterns in place from where you first start talking. Even things like where you go on dates, because this whole come to my house, do whatever. From early, I want to be wined and dined. I want to be rude, and no one saying you have to take me to Lori Shad.
They like to say Hakkasan. They like to say Hakkasan.
What? Take me to the park. Get creative with it.
That's another thing. They're not creative these days.
Get creative with
it's
it.
Funny. It's either they take it to
a young Moet,
expensive restaurant, and the conversation is dead. And it's like, where's the creativity? There's so many spots in London. There's so many spots that I take my friends, and my friends are like, how do you find this little cafe? This and that. Just research.
Google.
And I feel like if you like a woman, you want to take a woman out, you want to impress her.
They're limited.
We're in London.
The men are limited in their thinking.
This is the camera moment, right? So guys, listen up. Real sweats, right? I used to work in restaurants. When I tell you the markup of some of these champagnes, all these restaurants are good, the markup that you are paying is a mazine. Moet, perfect example. You pay £30. You pay £30 to get it in the shops. You're paying like £150 if you go to the Shard or go to one of these restaurants. Yeah. Get creative with it. No one's saying the spot has to be.
There's so many.
But I don't take me to the park. I'm not a squirrel. That's not my ideal date.
Right. So if we are talking, question for both of you, right? If we're talking, guy has £50.
Yeah.
Take you on an amazing date. Where would you want to go?
I don't mind going to cinema. I don't mind going to a local place. It's the vibe and the conversation, but don't take me to the park. I'm not a squirrel. That's it. I'm not a nature person. I'm not about that life. Not as a first date. I feel like first dates are intimate settings. I want to be sexy. I want you to see me physically and be attracted to me. I don't want to wear joggers and go to the park and be chased by no damn dog.
You turn up. For me, a park, unless you don't want me to be sneezing every 30 seconds because of my hay fever, it needs to be like, not the first date. You need to be used to me. Don't take me to the cinema as a first date because I'm anemic. I'll sleep on your ass. And I've offended a lot of people. And that's not my prerogative. You're the dumbass that told me you want to take me to the cinema for my first date. I'm going to sleep. And then they get offended. They get offended. They're like, so am I boring? Am I boring? Am I boring? And I'm like, no, I'm just fatigued. I'm tired. I'm taking my head and I'm relaxed.
Folic acid, you know.
But be creative. It doesn't even just have to always be a restaurant. It could be a nice bar place. A guy took me somewhere where it was live band. A guy, it's a white guy. I mean, white guys are really more creative than us.
That's for another episode.
He took me to another episode. He took me to a comedy club, and up till now, it's probably one of my best first dates because the whole day I was eating and cackling and laughing. I just even forgotten that I was on a date, and it was just so good.
So the best date I've been on, I still want it to be top, so man's single, you know. Anyway, no, my first date, the best date I've been on is, it was with my ex. He was my ex at the time, we were just dating, and we both said we loved photography. So he took me to a butterfly exhibition at the V&A. So he bought a ticket, took me to a butterfly exhibition. There was literally butterflies everywhere. It was a bit freaky at times, but it was just us capturing it on film. So we both had DSLRs, we did that. We then went to like a Zizzi's or one of these like Italian restaurants, places, chain restaurants. And then it was in South Kent, so we went to the Hummingbird Bakery afterwards. And then he actually paid for me to get a massage, which was totally random, and I loved it. But even if he didn't,
fling off the pack for that one.
Even if he didn't, just the fact that massage was decent.
You understand?
Like even if that kind of additional bit hadn't been added, what I loved about it was the fact that we did something we loved. We bonded on something that we were mutually interested in. Yeah. And it wasn't expensive. Because I won't lie, I do worry about, how much a guy is spending. Because a part of me has that offset of, should I be expecting?
I think it's time. Did she say she worries about the guy's pocket?
No, I do. You know what? No, I do, because it's more around the expectation they then have of me.
I know. So, did you say your parents were married and they got split up?
Yeah, they were married and they got divorced.
Okay, so now that we're kind of at the age where we are looking for life partners and we are looking for our boo or our bae, whatever the case is, how has your perception of marriage changed over the years, and what's it going to take for you to get married now?
So I'd say my perception of marriage has changed in that it's ongoing. It's not this. I was one of those girls that thought it was like you meet the love of your life, you get married, you're blessed because this is the person that you've chosen, you date, you've taken your time, and marriage evolves. And with marriage evolving and you evolving, like things will change, and you will go through, difficult times. I don't feel 100%. Like it's synonymous to a bad marriage. I just think that is marriage. And I think in terms of I think the second question was what would it take you now
to get married? This generation to get married?
Do you know what? It's two things, and I'll kind of just say it as succinctly as I possibly can. Number one, I want to be with someone that I don't feel like I'm going to cheat on you. And that you don't hear women say that often enough, right? But I genuinely say, like, I think to myself, like, it's for life. Yeah. So even when I think about, the small things, I'm like, am I going to, and then again, this was something that was said in this marriage seminar that I went to, like, you shouldn't go into any kind of even relationship trying to change someone. That's who they are, right? If they want to change, they will change for you, right? But if they're not going to change, you have to then think, well, do I want to be with this person? So that's what I think. Like, I think for me, it's about, I don't want to cheat on the person I'm with. And then I also think what will allow me to, or what it will take for me to get married is basically, can I see me spend the rest of my life with you? I'm not here for
Can I put up with your flaws?
Yeah, can I put up with your flaws? I'm not here for 10 years. Yeah. I'm not here for 20 years. I'm here for life.
Faithfulness, attracts me. And I feel like if I can find a guy with the same, don't need to be in church every Sunday, don't need to be, religious, but if you have a relationship, like if I really sense that you have the fear of God in you,
so true,
that when I'm not there, you are doing the right thing, the fear of God in you, then that's the only way I feel like I can get married. Because for me, I'm not that I'm petty, but I'm not the type of woman to suffer. I'm not a manager. I don't manage shit. And if you cheat on me, you're the head of the house. We don't do crying anymore. You're meant to be covering me. Now I have no cover.
That's how I feel.
We're the clown couple. We're going to be known as the clown.
Because it's going to be cheating here. Everyone's it's going to be a game at that point.
It's going to be a game at that point. So if that's the vibe you're on, if that's the games you're on, it's never going to work for me. I would probably cheat back or leave.
This is not me cheat. I haven't even got the energy and effort, because this is it. When you're broken, women are strong, they can deal. But when men are broken, let's not even get into that. Like when they're broken, they're crying, everybody's upset.
Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't even cheat back. I would just go. I'll leave it. I don't want to be responsible for anyone's heartbreak, even if you're responsible for mine. I don't want to be responsible for anyone's heartbreak. And that's even going back to the question you asked.
I want to be so mature like you when I grow up.
I want to be like you.
But do you know what? Let me tell you now, it's taken a lot of healing, a lot of like that therapy. It's a lot of healing, a lot of therapy. And then it's just, there was a point in my life where I just got very tired. And I'd say it's more recently, maybe like the last year and a half. I got tired of being angry. It's literally it's just taking pain for other people's headaches that they've inflicted on you because of their own trauma. I just got tired, and I said, you know what? If I can live every day, just accept, just at peace, and live every day, just take it every day as it comes. I'll be all right.
Like your team.
Team goals. So this is the part where you plug yourself and let us know all about the Community D podcast and what we're expecting next.
Yes. All right. So, couple of things. So Community D podcast is on all the major platforms, so Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
So we're currently in the second season. I took a bit of a hiatus during the lockdown, but that is coming back with visuals as well. So just kind of as people are comfortable, or either be in the studio or whatever. But second season will be coming, a lot more topics. Lady might have to come back on again.
We do have to.
I feel like we started.
Yeah, we started. It was getting juicy, and we had to cut.
So and then hopefully, actually, I want to do a live as well, because I feel like the reason why I started Community Podcast, the tagline for it is literally life, the dating juggle, and everything in between. But I wanted to explore like dating and life and just like how like aligned they are and how one impacts the other, but just in the late 20s, early 30s, because you know, a lot of what is out there, a lot of the narrative out there is very much diluted by different ages, and because it's different ages, it's different experiences. Absolutely. But everyone just seems to follow a particular trend. I'm like, it doesn't work like that, right? The conversations that are being had offline are actually what need to be elevated, because these are the people who are serious, who are looking for something, and they can't work out what is going on. So I want to do a live. Yeah, I want to do a live and just really kind of excited.
We absolutely can't wait to come on.
Yeah, I feel like also
we're number one fans, so we there.
If I do a live, you know you're going to be part of the panel. Like you'll come on the panel, because also like I feel like a side part of me is always, like I said, I'm a hopeful romantic, so a side part of me is always like, you know what, if you come and you also happen to meet the love of your life there,
then it's
that's already bridesmaid. You already got your actual B sorted. What? So yeah,
it's been so good having you on. Honestly,
I loved it. And honestly, ladies,
I feel like we've just touched the tip. Touch that tip.
You know what? I
haven't had so many ages though. Excuse me, child. I'm a bit flustered sometimes. I ain't touched the tip in a while, but So we just about scratched the surface is what I'm meant to say. But it would be good to have you back on, and it's just been great having you on.
And honestly, can I just say, I am so proud of you ladies. Like even when we were talking, I know you guys were kind of like, you're building it up, but just everything that you are doing, and just I think where you're coming from as well is so needed. And I said it on the podcast, and I will say it again on yours,
really because
it for me, it's this is what I want to see. This is what I will always promote, like up, down, left, right.
Yes.
And I will encourage people to listen, because you need that spectrum of thought.
100%.
You cannot like exist in this world without having that diversity of thought.
100%.
And once you get that, I feel like that's where, you know, all of these.
We finally got here. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, girl. It's a wrap. Thank you. Okay, so as you know, on the Taboo Table, we normally ask our guests to give us a few words to live by, a bit of a mantra of how they go about their lives. So I've got Sarah of the Community D podcast words to live by here, and I'm going to read them out. So Sarah says, one day at a time, and then she goes on to say, you are doing amazing, girls. Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you for being on our show. It's been a great conversation. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. Thanks, bye.